Good evening.
It's 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday, March 20th, 2018. And I would like to welcome all of you to the clubhouse for the monthly meeting of the Board of Directors of the Pine Ridge Condominium Association at 4801 Lakeside Club Boulevard. The meeting will now come to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we begin our regular meeting, I would like to have a moment of silence for the death of Benny Limatola, or as a lot of you know him as Uncle Benny. Thank you all. John, will you please do the roll call?
Janet Mirando.
Here.
Ken Jerome. Here. John Fricker. Here. Scott Harris. Here. Mike Lellen. Here. Isabel Costanzo.
Here.
Phil Shibano.
Here.
Proof of notice?
The meeting was properly noticed.
Thank you. Open forum. David Bass.
Hello.
You're probably going to have to pick that up, David, or people are going to be yelling at you. Thank
Been
you.
yelled at by the best.
I know, so. Me too.
Okay. I'm here to ask the board to consider widening the sidewalk on the north side of the swimming pool. It is currently 36 inches wide. It has hedges along both sides. It is nearly impossible for people to pass each other going the opposite directions. The hedge between the sidewalk and the swimming pool, if it was removed, would give 45 additional inches for a sidewalk. If the hedge was removed and that was paved over, it would make it wide enough for the three-wheeled bicycles, two-wheeled bicycles, the motor scooters, everything that goes through there. It's a heavily traveled sidewalk. People from all along the lake side of the condos use it when going to the pool and when coming to functions here at the clubhouse. I have talked to several people and haven't heard any negative that we can think of. And also, if you remove that hedge, it would give better lighting to the sidewalk because that hedge is blocking a lot of that light that sits right on top of the pool fence from getting down to the pathway. So if that was removed, that would help and make it a safer at night especially. Removing the hedge I don't think would add to the noise or the privacy of the pool because it's got the slats all the way around it, and it's not dense enough that it would make enough difference to bother anyone if it was removed, to my way of thinking.
Okay, David, thank you very much. We will certainly consider it. Next, Ann Hughes.
I'd like to suggest that they put more
bike racks by the condos. I would be more than glad to put my bike out in the bike rack, and so would my cousin behind me. We can't. They are full of bikes. There are a couple flat-tired ones on ours, but in the next condo where Jolene lives, she has no room either. And we even bought covers for our bicycles, but we can't put them out because there's no room for them.
Okay, and let me ask you a little something. I'm being a smart aleck.
Okay.
Did you want them to do it, or would you like us to consider it? You dressed them instead of I'm just having fun with you, okay? Anyhow, we got your message. Thank you. We will talk about that also. We certainly will. Good evening, folks. Bill and Kathy England.
Yeah, that was just me.
It's going to be you then.
Yeah, just me.
Okay, would you pick up that microphone too, please?
You want me talking to too, I guess?
Yeah, I think you can talk to us.
The question I have is, where do we stand on the attorney's interpretation of the vote that was taken by the association on the doors, changing the colors of the doors? I know they said they had to check with them and see if the number of votes was appropriate.
Okay.
The attorney's interpretation was that it passed.
It did pass.
All right.
You guys know what we're talking about?
No.
Can you expound upon that?
Yeah, you guys voted in the annual meeting packet to allow for some individuality when we paint the buildings, that there would be 4 or 5 different door colors. They were pretty tastefully chosen. We had the colors out at the time and everybody was looking at them. So leading up to the painting, you guys will get the option. I have a feeling gray might be the most popular choice, but you'll have the option of a couple of other different colors to go along with it. And the hues were listed in what you voted on, what hues they could be. There was like a navy blue or a forest green, things like that.
So that'll be the next time the place is painted, or how is that going to work?
That'll be when the buildings are painted. Yeah, that's when we'll do that.
Okay, now I got another question. So if you got, say you're on the second floor and you got 4 doors there, those 4 doors have to be the same color, or can they be all different colors?
According to what you voted on, each owner would get to choose.
Each person.
4 to 5 colors.
Yeah, I think there was a green, a blue, a bronze, a gray, and then like a real, rich red. Fire. Oh, and a white.
It was in a Georgian brand, sort of antique. Dark brown.
I have a
Very
feeling
rich blue, very
I have a
rich
feeling
red.
the most popular color will be the color that we currently have, but
Okay, that's, anyhow, you all know that. And you'll have more information about that when it comes time to do the painting.
So just let me
But yes, it did pass.
clarify that if I can,
Would you,
Madam President.
yes, if you hurry up with it.
So let's say, when are we going to paint again? In a couple of years?
No, I think later.
towards the end of the year,
Okay, so how is anybody going to let you know what color they want the door painted?
we'll have to put something out.
Okay, so they'll know
You'll
that.
have to be proactive in
Thank you,
that.
Madam
Like
President.
owl.
You should have known the answer to that, sir. We always do that. Anyhow, okay, next, Ed Rickey. Ed, please don't give me a bad time this time.
No, it's all good news tonight.
Oh, good.
Robert and I, his English is terrible, so I'm not. We just want to thank everybody that participated in the Pine Ridge Day, starting with Ken Jerome and his fantastic setup crew. And Jolene had the food that was off the chart. Mary Ann Benedict had the registration. Robert and I did the games. Bob Burke did the music, and then we had everybody pitch in for the cleanup. It was the smoothest day that we ever had. There were 240 people showed up, and I think everybody had a good time. Oh, and the people that went out and solicited the local merchants for the prizes that were awarded. But I'm sorry if I missed anybody, but it was a very good day. Thank you very much.
I don't think I have anybody else. Skip, if we want him to. You want to talk, Skip?
No, thank you.
Okay.
There was a skip. I remember skip.
Yeah, that was like there where it has a baseball cap.
Okay, reading or approval of the previous minutes?
As they're already posted and printed, I make a motion that we waive the reading in the minutes.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Thank you. Managers report.
Good evening, everybody. I had somebody before the meeting come up to me and say, why can't we keep anybody working here? And,
Don't tell me the
We
last
want
time.
somebody else?
last month I announced that we had hired, we had taken our time, we had found somebody we thought was of equal, or, someone that would fit in with our team here and what we were looking for. And he had a good first few days or a week, and then a job that actually he volunteered for, was his idea. I guess got to be too hard for him and he quit. Well, I'm disappointed, and obviously that's not what we anticipated when we hired him. I think it's better that we find out now than we find out 2 years from now when he really, we were in the middle of something big and he could have left. So, to answer the question, why can't we keep somebody, is we can keep somebody. All of our people have been long-time employees. The guys that you see working daily with Bruce are temporary employees that, they haven't been here these last 3 days because it's been raining. There's not a whole lot of work that can be done in the rain. So tomorrow it's gonna clear up, we'll have some of the temporary guys back because we can get back to some of the work that we were doing. But those guys are on call, they're not full-time, and if they were full-time material, we would bring them in full-time, but they're not full-time material, that's the reason why. We've also brought in some contractors who will work at piecework type of rates. They're professional contractors, licensed, insured, but we can pay them by the job, and it incentivizes them to do a good job and get it done faster, and which is also good for us. We're getting more done in a quicker amount of time. Just since our last meeting in February, for example, and I really want to commend Bruce and Pamela. That's really what I had written down on my first page, was saying what a good team that we do have. And the guys, and Bruce and Pamela both, but not the guys, the guy and girl, that, if there's a problem or an issue or something that we need to take care of, we, work on it and figure it out. We don't find the first store and run out of it like Keith did, unfortunately, and sometimes other people do. But just since last month's meeting, we got the fence along Lakeside Club Boulevard painted. They did a real nice job painting it. And those paint crew, Marios, they really want the painting job because they painted that whole concrete wall for us too. And we didn't ask for them to do that or pay for that. So we got a little freebie, and it does look nice. I mean, it does look nice. They even repaired some of the stucco and stuff on it, yeah. We had all of our fire extinguishers serviced. Some of them needed to be replaced, some of them needed charging, and we also added one outside, right in between all the new stuff that we added that could catch on fire, like the barbecue and the fire pit. So we wanted to have one out there, so that's a new fire extinguisher. We installed new gates and we finished, mostly, but I would say we finished the fence around the maintenance yard. Helps hide it for some of the residents that live over there. make it a little more attractive. Still gonna finish some painting on it, but overall, I think it turned out very nice, and they've cleaned up the yard very nicely, so it's not a junkyard anymore, which is kind of nice. One of our piecework contractors came in and was able to tear down and rebuild 2 of the meter room boxes. And we bought the material and he came in and did the work. He was able to get 2 of them done in, I think it was 3 or 4 days. It would have taken a lot longer. And we used our former carpenter, so I was really pleased to get that done. Hope to get another 2 done in the next 2 days, would be great. But those meter rooms have been neglected for a long time, and they really, really needed it. With the new doors and hinges and hardware. If you've seen them, the 2 new ones are in between building 201 and 202 here on Green Cypress. You know, back to back, right across from each other. The northwest side. We refurbished the seawall, the cap on the seawall. You know, when we redid the dock, we had 3 or 4 gallons left over of that light beige color of Super Deck. And it's a custom color, and we can't return it. And it was just sitting back there, and I was looking at the seawall cap, and I said, if we really clean that and ran that same type of decking resurfacer over that, it might give it some new life. And it sure did. We were actually used paint that was just hanging around. So that was a good project. I thought that we came up with, and it looks good. We repaired some of the damaged concrete areas that needed to be repaired this month. That was one of the days that we lost. That was the day that we lost that guy. But just for a point of reference, the following day we had 2 day labor workers come and help Bruce do it. This was during when my dad was having the surgery, and Bruce told me he didn't even really need it, he could have done it by himself. So Keith, I guess, just wasn't going to work. So that, along with the other stuff that we've done earlier in the year, like adding the picnic area and the cornhole area and the tennis court and all that stuff, I think we've been able to accomplish a lot with less people, which means less money being paid out by you guys. So overall, while it's not ideal, and we will hire a second maintenance man because you just need a second set of hands, sometimes I think we've got to find the right person, and who that is yet, we'll have to see. But I think we've done very, very well how we've been. So I just want to report to the board that everything is going very well. On the office administrative side, things are going well. We negotiated the roofing contract and completed that.
You want to do that for you?
And that's it. So I just want everyone to know that Bruce and Pamela, they're very good. I wouldn't be able to do it without them. They really stepped up when I had a family emergency and had to leave, like I said. And I missed a couple days last week. My sister was married on Saturday, which was nice. But they had to pick up the slack, and I appreciate that, and we appreciate that. So notes, just community notes that you're going to want to know. For the multi-story buildings, the dryer vent cleaning is scheduled for May 13th and 14th, so middle of May is when the dryer vents will be cleaned. Fire alarm inspections will take place on Monday, March 25th. We'll post the notices for you, so that way if you get woken up by an alarm, you know the building's not on fire. But that'll be on March 25th. The hallway flooring, I know a lot of people want to know how we're going to proceed with that. I've got a meeting with a contractor at the end of the month who sounded like they had some good grinders, so let's see what happens. It'll be about a week before we know how they feel about that job. But we're going to reconvene and figure out how to get that done as expeditiously as we can. The road and pathway seal coating, we're going to start that, I hope, towards the end of April, and it'll go into early May possibly. Some of it may coincide with the roofing. Once we get one section area totally done and there's no more big trucks going over there, there's no reason why we can't seal coat over there. So that's one of the reasons why the roofs are mapped out in the certain order that they are. And the list that you have of roofs that will be redone, that is tentatively the order, but unless something changes out in the field, that we're unable to do one in the order that they are, that is the order. If you're at the bottom of the list, don't worry. I don't expect this project to last the entire month of April. We hope to be done before April is out. So it's not, you're not going to be waiting too much longer. That's just going to be like a week or two. And the last note I have is, I don't know if you noticed, but there's some big potholes out on Orange River Boulevard right as you're coming into Argument. So we've called and reported it a couple of times. They should be out to fix it. And drive 15 miles an hour while you're in the community. That's the last thing. Other than that, that's all I have to report to the board.
You did that one report too about the roofing.
No, we'll do that.
Oh, okay, you're gonna do that. Okay, treasurer's report.
Okay, the association's on budget and no unexpected expenditures. So our finances are in good shape, and going back to some of the things Eric said in his report, we're finding ways to pare some of the operating expenses. So that helps us throughout the year. To find them this early in the year is a good thing. So we can relax a little bit more. The budget committee started on the reserve component for next year's budget. Our reserve research people sent us the wrong information. It's a simplified summary. It's not what we use. This is like the summary you would send to a community that didn't want to fool with it. Just tell us how much money to put in the reserves, and we don't do it that way. So in the next couple of days, Marjorie at the company there said she would send us the data sets that we need, so we can break it down, we can know what we're spending and where, because we get a little more granular with our forward planning as we go up to deal with. So it kind of threw us off on our first meeting, but we'll have it, and then we'll meet again, get it together. And I guess it's tax season, so I haven't got the February income statement yet from the accountants, and I'm sure it'll be here any day. So that will be made available to you, should you ask them, and we'll put it out. It's just they haven't got it to us yet. But other than that, as always, any financial documents that we have, they're yours to look at if you ever want to come check. Just ask Eric or Pam or me. And that's it for mine.
And the next thing is supposed to be the president's report. I don't have a very big report, but I do a lot of this stuff right along with them. Anyhow, one thing, when you all leave, please turn your water off. You know, I'm sure you're all aware of several things that have happened around here. Please turn your water off, and we'll alleviate as many of them as we can. Even if you're going to be gone for a couple weeks or even a week, it doesn't hurt to turn it off. So please do that. Committee reports. Okay.
Can I just expound on that too?
You go ahead.
Some of these units with mold, it can get really bad. A little pinhole leak in a pipe that pops and you're not home to know that it's happening, it can ruin your entire apartment. We've got at least one going right now that it's ruined their entire apartment, a couple other ones that have significant damage, and that's all it takes. So I mean, if I was leaving for a week to go on vacation, I would be sure to turn my water off. And if you're leaving for the season, definitely you want to turn your water off. You're really protecting yourself from a lot of heartache, because it's really tough to get everything back to normal after a flood or a disaster.
Okay, Isabel, would you like to give your report, please, for the social club?
I would. It gives me great pleasure to give the report. I was at Pine Ridge Day.
They can't hear you.
Put it closer to you, that's all. I was at Pine Ridge Day, And it was just wonderful. It was so well organized. The food, the music, the games, everything was perfect. And it's a little hard for me to say, but it was the best ever Pine Ridge Day that we've ever had. So
Thank you.
We should give them a standing Thank you, and I would just like to add, the highlight of the day was from Marge Bass. I don't think she's here tonight, is she?
No.
But she donated a quilt, and it was outstanding. It was for a Marine. We didn't have a Marine present, but we had a widow of a Marine, and she was just thrilled to receive this beautiful, beautiful quilt. So we thank Marge for doing that. It was wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, architectural, do you have any report? Thank you. Okay, landscaping, Scott, do you have anything?
Yeah, a couple things. Last meeting, somebody was asking about sod,
Oh, yeah, we have,
because, we've got some bad spots. And I think Eric's ready, he's worked out a deal between our landscaper and the landscaper's sod guy. So we can go direct to the sod people and the thing, and we'll save, what, about 50%?
Try to cut out the.
Okay, so be patient, it'll save us money. That's another thing I noticed, well, I got sent an email, I didn't notice it. Over in that kind of blind spot between the two buildings on Green Cypress where we had to remove that humongous cactus and they had the roots problem, and it was just horrific. And they brought in the stump grinder and cleared it out. And we've got plants, they're not in the ground yet, but they're set up in where they will be planted. So the people that live over there, I would really like to thank you for your patience. We do get the things. The thing is, the immediate fix is always very expensive, and you don't get a better result. What we try to do is, like when the guy was doing the stumps, we said, okay, do the stumps, but go over here and get the cactus roots. And then we got the plants and we can do it. So it'll take a little bit longer, but it's a whole lot cheaper for us, which is us. I mean, if y'all want to spend a bunch of money and get the same result, that's fine. I can do that. No, I can't do it. So anyway, I just want to thank everybody for their patience. The bougainvillea over there, Judy and Michelle were looking at that, and someone else, they got a little feed, and we've had some rain, and some of them are starting to respond. Some of them aren't going to make it, so we're not going to pull them up. We're going to try to nurture the ones that we have. The ones that just aren't going to make it, we'll just let the grass grow over probably, because if something's dying there, anything we're going to plant is going to die again too. It's just not good soil over there. So that's going along. Sod, what else is that? Yeah, the irrigation's doing good. But just a little bit longer on the side, folks, because he's working.
It's about another month before there's a lot of good sod.
So as soon as we can get it. Oh, hush. What did I say? I love you. Okay. Next
Okay.
Wednesday. Thanks.
all right, Kenny, Safety Committee?
All right, during the weekend of 3/2/19, we had some unauthorized people on our property and 3 cars were gotten into and items stolen. Now I say gotten into because the cars were left unlocked. One of our residents took pictures, which really helped. 2 individuals walking outside a gate. That same weekend, when a report was made, the pictures of the 2 male individuals were given to the sheriff. The sheriff deputy knew these 2 individuals, and he matched them with the fingerprints that he found on those cars, and they arrested them. So good for them. All 3 cars were unlocked, and the deputy said, make sure you lock your cars, you're just inviting theft, you know. Some people I heard say, well, leave the cars unlocked and they won't break the glass and they'll take whatever they want. Well, there's a lot of cars around here that didn't have the glass broken. The guys that had it unlocked got the stuff taken, so I would recommend, make sure you like, if you're in New York or Chicago, lock your doors, you know, period. It's common sense.
And one thing that the sheriff's officer said was, if you didn't have your doors locked, you were asking for it. Then you almost don't even want to bother with it, yeah.
So we presently have the sheriff doing some patrols around our community. We have a dummy car out there that Eric requested, and we're asking him to do a little more patrolling around our neighborhood as the manpower is available. The other thing is, maybe some of you has heard, somebody reported there was a couple of individuals running around early in the morning. We found out that was the paper boy. But the thing is, somebody calls somebody on the board of directors, not that we don't want you to call us, but just call 911, it's faster. Because all we're gonna do is call 911, because time is of the essence when we have a situation like that. Also, maybe you wanna pass that around to everybody. The word doesn't always get out to the community, but I know we put it in our minutes, we talk about it at the meetings, but you know, if you're onto anybody, tell them lock their cars, don't leave them unlocked.
And
So
if
that would be
somebody's
great help.
outside wandering around and you call 911 and the cops get here in time to catch them, they'll be trespassed from the property, which means if they come back on the property, they're really in trouble. Because, I don't know, Ed, if you remember, you and I signed that affidavit with the
Yes.
police
Yep.
to allow them to trespass people from the property, because this is private property and nobody that's not supposed to be here should be here.
And you may not want to leave, if you have a concealed weapon permit, don't leave your gun in the car, maybe, you know, you don't want to get that wrong. A couple of lighting enhancements were added to our list, and I think as time allows, there's about 5 items left on the list. Eric will get to those. Somebody alerted me that there's a lot of people driving around with handicap stickers or the handicaps that hang from the mirror, and it's illegal to have those hanging down. Just read the thing, but you know, it's going to block your vision. It's going to create a problem. You don't leave yours, do you?
Yes, I do.
Well, you should take it down. You're gonna need a citizen's arrest if you keep it.
Put it away while you're driving and put it out.
Yeah.
Okay, the other thing is, it's getting close to the time of the year where we're gonna have hurricanes, and again, I want to remind people, if you're on the first floor, if you're in a villa, to consider flood insurance. It's about $300 a year, and it might give you some peace of mind. There's some people that I know in here that their insurance company has recommended them to get the flood insurance, so. But you get the flood insurance through your insurance company, but it actually it's from HUD, not HUD, but FEMA, okay, so. I know that when we had one hurricane 2 years ago, it looked like the light hurricane was coming through here. They were talking about 9-foot surges, and I was really getting anxious about the whole thing, and I figured, well, I'm gonna get flood insurance, which I did, so for $300, I got a lot of peace of mind, so that's what I would recommend, at least consider it, okay? Also, smoke alarms are good for 10 years. If your smoke alarms are over 10 years, I recommend replacing them. And if you can't handle 110, you could probably find a neighbor or something that you're just talking about a couple of wires that you take it down, you put the 110 on it, and then it runs on 110 and a battery. And they're about $10-15. Also, the same thing with fire extinguishers. If your fire extinguisher is in need of recharging, we found out it's cheaper to just replace it than recharge it, so you want to consider that. And that's all I got.
Thank you very much.
I'm gonna be checking your car tomorrow.
You do that.
Oh, could I add something, please? On the subject of smoke alarms, if you're leaving for the summer or the season, don't do what I did, or did not do. Replace the battery in your smoke, because it starts to call for help when the battery runs out. So, and somebody replaced mine for me. So.
Normally, daylight saving time is when people say change the batteries and everything on daylight saving time, so that was last week. Did everybody change the batteries? What's that? Oh, is that right? Well, my batteries are only good for you.
Okay, we now have the update on the upcoming roofing project by Eric.
I'll go ahead and just fill people in on the details of the roofing project that the board voted on last month. The best and final bid was from Frank's Roofing. We think they're gonna do the best job, and also they came in with the best bid. They normally charge $425 per square, which a square is 100 square feet. We're getting it for $350 per square, so a pretty nice discount. And then at the end, the owner said that he would take an extra $10,000 off the top. So whatever the total is gonna knock 10 off. So we think it's a good deal. They use all Owens Corning material, which from what I'm told is the best that we can get. The planned start date is April 1st. We're not fooling around. The first building that we're going to do is building 101, which is 4681 Lakeside Club Boulevard. That was a building that had some hurricane damage that we did a temporary fix to because, like how I say, we're getting $350 a square. Last summer, when after the hurricane, it was $750 a square. So actually, with this roofing contract, we added the last two big buildings, 203 and 204, to this year's roofing project rather than next year's. And the thought process was anything can happen this summer, and if the pricing really does get volatile and change again, say due to a hurricane or something, that would mean all of our big buildings are done, and all we'll have are the single-story villas and duplexes and single-family homes left. So, well, we've got the price locked in, let's get the big ones done, because we're just a few months away.
Is that labor and material for $350?
Correct. Wow.
That's cheap, yeah.
One thing I'd like to add is
Extras will be
Frank's,
the skylights, gutters, wood rot, like, so there's extras, you know, they'll make, go ahead, Sam.
Good job.
no, I'm saying is Frank's has 45 employees, and he does not use
48.
48, all right, he does not use subcontractors, his own people. That's where we ran into problems
They've been in
before.
business a long time, though, right on Palm Beach Boulevard, and everything we check out about it has been very good, so.
You need to tell them about the gutters.
Yeah, gutters are gonna be done at the same time. One thing though, that those of you in villas that have bird cages or extended lanais in some cases, if the bird cage or the extended lanai is tied into the gutter, that is your gutter. Our gutter people won't touch that because for fear of damaging your lanai or bird cage. So the newer lanais and the newer bird cages, they wouldn't tie into an existing gutter. So some of the older ones they have. So keep that in mind when you see gutters go up. They go up all around your house except that one little area in your courtyard. That's the reason why we can't take on the responsibility of the full bird cage. We'll have questions at the end of the meeting, okay? Those of you who do have extended lanais that are on the list, though, I was able to talk with Frank's. They have a system that goes over the flat roofs of your extended lanais to waterproof them. And their normal minimum to come out and do anything is like $2,500. And I think each one is a different price, but he quoted the people that have flat roofs basically at the discounted price that we would get if they belonged to the association. And what I told him is I would offer it to those homeowners as an option, you know, between Frank's Roofing and them, if they chose to do it. So if you're on that list, and we'll be getting in touch with everybody, I guess, on that list, that would qualify for that, and we'll let you know how much that costs and whether you need it or not. You can decide if you want it. But other than that, we expect to rock and roll. They're filing for permits right now, and there'll be three or four crews in here at a given time. You'll see some action. The color of the shingle is an antique silver. which is almost a perfect match with the other shingles that we have. I have a sample in the office. I meant to bring it outside. But if you'd like to see the shingle, we have the sample board in the office. And any questions about this, we'll take at the end of the meeting.
Okay, I think we have come to the point of any other business that lawfully comes before the board at this time. Anybody have any questions?
How about the dog park?
The dog park, we're still looking into some ideas and where best to propose that, but we've looked at some places which it's not ready for prime time yet to show you guys what we're thinking of and whether or not it's doable.
Can the rest of us vote on that?
On the dog park?
Yeah.
Well, I think the documents allow the board to spend up to $10,000 on a capital improvement. So it would just depend how much the board has spent on capital improvements up until that point, and then they're capped out.
Yeah, but is it needed that much? Is it a capital improvement?
Is it needed that much is open to interpretation. I guess it would depend if you have a dog and you want to go to a dog park. Is it needed that? And the second question was, is it a capital improvement? Yes, I would call it a capital improvement because it's taking a piece of property and improving upon that. So it's something that wasn't there before. A maintenance item is like when we redo the pool deck with brick pavers, that's maintenance of the pool deck. Taking a blank piece of property and making it into something that I think is something else. Yeah.
If you go out early in the morning, 8, 7, you find out how many dog owners there are in here. It's a good meeting place, too.
It is.
I mean, it would be a very, very minor capital improvement because I don't think it would cost a whole lot if an appropriate place for it can be found. You know.
What is appropriate place? Who wants it?
Yes,
Well, we want it.
Would you
Dog
come
owners
up
want it.
front so
We're
they-
looking for an appropriate location.
yes. Get that, honey, because I've told everyone else that. I'm sure.
Okay, hi, I'm Carol. Just a quick question. I understand that guest parking is first come, first served. However, there are some people that permanently leave their vehicles in a guest parking spot. How does one address that?
I think that would have to be addressed on an individual basis. The first thing we do is try to contact the people whose car it is and see what it is. The rules state that guest parking is first come, first served, but you're supposed to park in your assigned space first. I've seen it not necessarily here, but at other complexes where people will park in a guest spot all the time to leave their space open for their guests, so their guest always has a space. If that's what's going on, then that's a violation of the rules and that should be addressed that way. If they have 2 cars and one of them is parked in the guest space and they just don't drive it a lot, I'm not exactly sure. We have to talk to them and look into it,
Okay, I'm not sure.
I guess I'd prefer them to switch it around and park the one they don't drive a lot in the
Right,
assigned
because,
space.
where I live, there's that, that community guest parking that, would take another 3 minutes.
So that'd be more of an individual, if there's a couple cars or one car in particular that you're looking at, I would say let's address that on an individual basis, yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes, you need to come up here so everyone can hear you, please.
We need to get more microphones.
I'm Bernadette Frost. I'm not a dog owner, just one question on the dog park. Since I'm not a dog owner, I don't think I should have much of a say. But I've been talking to people who are dog owners, and I kind of think that it might not be a bad idea to ask dog owners how many of them want the dog park and what percentage of dog owners are in favor of it before a decision is made.
Thank you.
It's a good idea. One thing that I will say, and I had it in the last community that I worked at, and then for a while we were having it here. I don't think we have it anymore now that we redid the tennis court. But dog owners would go and I'm not advocating either side, whether we should have one or not. They would use the tennis court, especially where I used to work, as a little fenced-in dog area for the dogs to run around. And you know what dogs do, it's not great for the tennis court coating. And there it was a real problem, and they would, you know, get upset when we wouldn't let them do it. Here it never got to be a real big problem, but a fenced-in area for the dogs is something that people request. You know, a few years ago this was brought up, and we came up with a nice little sheet that told you where all the local dog parks were, so you knew where to go. So it's just whether we want to hear or there are other places for people.
All right. You need to come up to the front too. Really? Okay.
Come to the altar.
Anyway, my name is Donna. I live on Blackberry Drive. And I have a question kind of towards the landscape committee.
What have I done now?
You haven't.
What have I not done now?
The back. I haven't gone in the back of the houses in a long time, but someone went to show me some damage done in the back with the trees by lightning.
That was
So I went behind
my
the
place.
houses.
That's behind my place.
Okay, so I went behind the houses, and I noticed that a lot of the houses have all debris from the trees and everything right up against the building.
Oh, they're shedding now too.
And nothing, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, and it's bad. You get leaves like this freaking big.
That's just mayhoes that are along the berm. And when they fall and it blows or when it rains, they come down. And I clean behind mine, but I guess we could.
I don't have a blower. I don't have
I'm
one.
getting one, Donna, as soon as I get it.
So I'll knock on your door?
Yeah, I'm getting
Okay.
the electric one. I looked at the cordless ones and they're too spendy.
Well, no, I mean, you know.
Yeah, but I understand what you're saying. And that big gap where they cut those trees out during the day, it's not very pretty for me, but if you
Well-
want to come out at night, I put up my old rainbow
I'm not
solar
going there. I'm
light.
not going there.
And it makes pretty colors on that wall. You can sit there and have a smoke and watch the colors change on the wall. And listen to the traffic.
Actually, no, it doesn't matter. It's just that it's a mess and it smells afterward when they get wet. Whenever it rains and they get wet, it stinks.
It's rotting vegetation. It's coming.
Yeah. So that's why I questioned you about it.
Okay,
Thank you.
Are you, just a minute, Donna, are you talking about just leaves and stuff like that? Are you talking about debris that's left over from the hurricane?
Leaves. No, not
Oh,
debris
just
from the
leaves,
hurricane.
okay.
Just leaves.
When you live backed up to those mayhoes, I could say to everyone in here who does, you know, expect some of that because
leaves
Oh,
it's
yeah.
part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and one more question. When they do the gutters, could we as owners of the villas put those gutter covers on there?
The leaf guards.
Leaf guards.
I need that because my.
Are they
gutters-
any good? I mean, I don't know. I'm
It works
questioning
in
it.
front of my place. I have one in the front. I don't have one in the back. And I've got a problem with mayho leaves filling up my gutter, and then it's just a waterfall, and then the wind blows it in.
My experience with those leaf guards is they tend to get covered up by the leaves and then they don't let the water through. I actually did see a new product. It was a foam that you put inside your gutter and the foam like soaks the water like a sponge and then lets it flow out and that's supposed to protect it from.
Yeah, then it grows stuff.
But I don't know.
Then you
I
can
don't
add
know.
that to it.
You know, if there was a good solution to that, somebody probably would have invented it by now. Yeah.
Okay, this meeting will please come to order.
Buy and blow.
Yes, go ahead.
I think I have 3 quick ones. Can we get some specs on what the skylights will be? Do you have information on that?
Yeah, I have information.
Okay, all
Yeah, they're
right.
nice.
Good.
It's all,
And then my
it's Miami
other
Dade
question,
approved.
I
And
trust
they
all
look just
that.
like the ones.
Okay, all right. My next question is, do you know if the end of Blackberry is later on where it hits Green Cypress? If there's gonna be another light put in down there?
Well, you know, I don't know, I'd have to check the list. I thought we would took care of Blackberry, but are you concerned with Blackberry and And Villa Drive is a blackberry where
No,
green
no.
cypress is.
Blackberry by green cypress.
Okay, we can take a look at that.
Would you, that would be great. And my other question is, I'm a former dog owner, I will be a dog owner.
I can't hear her because everybody is talking.
Okay, I'll talk louder.
Not you.
Okay, I'm a former dog owner, and then one day I will be a dog owner. I have two-part question. What's the liability in there and who covers it when dog bites another? And what's going to be the maintenance of that? Is it up to residents, or will there be somebody that goes in to clean it up? Thank you.
The liability, your dog, if it were to attack someone or attack another dog, usually your homeowner's insurance
Even
covers
if
that.
it's in the park.
Now, obviously, if something horrible were to happen and in any case, in the dog park, in the swimming pool, in the tennis court, and somebody wanted to get a bunch of lawyers involved, they're gonna sue whoever has the deepest pockets and throw everybody in there. So, we have insurance against that type of thing. But really the liability, if your dog bit my dog, would, your dog bit my dog. And your homeowner's insurance usually will apply to that. As far as cleaning it up, it's gonna be up to the people in the sense of if your dog goes to the bathroom, you should pick it up so other dogs and people aren't stepping in it and that. But, you know, there'd have to be one of those waste stations in there and once a day, that would have to probably be emptied and start over for tomorrow.
The grass will die within a few months.
Free fertilizer, no.
No, it'll kill it.
Yeah.
Fertilizer, right?
They don't pick up what he's.
Yes, ma'am. Fast, you said?
Fast, they said. Just so you know, I don't need the microphone, but I know people are starting to get cleaned up and ready to leave and whatever. The social club has a box in the back corner by the printer or the copier, and if you want to put any of your non-perishable items in it, we have someone who's taking it to Harry Chapin for us. So
Okay.
as the boxes fill up, she'll put more boxes. So.
Thank you. I thought maybe you were gonna tell us she had a bunch of umbrellas.
No.
I see. Anyhow, I don't see any other hands, so, oh, yes, sir?
This is a point of information for Eric. This morning when I went to work out at 5:30, it was pitch black from the four-way stop to the gate. And coming back,
It was a breaker trip. We were able to fix it this morning, yeah. But thank you.
Thank you. This meeting now is adjourned.
Yeah, right? Oh, thank you.